Welcome in everyone to another live edition of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my coach James Haskell, and we are super excited to be here wrapping up the second week of OTA practices today or was it yesterday that it wrapped up? No, it was today
Yeah.
that they wrapped up practices. Now, only yesterday was open to the media, so we did a video wrapping up the week 2 observations. If you want to go check that out, we put that out last night. But really, we're open to talk about a lot of different things with our live, and we're going to start by talking to Miss Laura here, Jimbo.
That's right. No, absolutely. Shout out to Laura, of course, going up on the wall. Hey, guys.
She's already on the wall, by the way.
That's true. Yeah, she is. Hey, guys, I'm wondering if you think this year we can make it deep in the playoffs. Look forward to tonight's discussion. Yeah, Laura, 100%. I mean, you're asking the wrong person if you don't think if we go deep in the playoffs. I mean, no, but objectively speaking, absolutely. I think if any team that didn't make the playoffs last year has the best chance of rebounding and going deep into the playoffs, it's the Baltimore Ravens at the end of the day. And that's objective. At the end of the day, what wins in the playoffs? Obviously you need to have a top-tier quarterback, right? You need to have a good defense for the most part. You need to have a run game. I think we have all those three things. I think our defense is vastly improved. I think our run game is going to be vastly improved just based on health, not even adding Tyler Beatty to the situation. And then obviously Lamar Jackson being healthy. Those three things alone, not even including the other new pieces, are enough to where I think just those three, we're going to go deep into the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, I feel very confident barring some sort of catastrophic injuries or collapse. We are built, at the very least, to go deep in the playoffs every given Sunday, but I like our chances.
Oh, shout out to Chris in the comments section. Still doesn't know how to spell my name, but did used to work and hang out with Chris. So shout out to Brown Sugar in the chat. No, I think, Laura, I think all the proof you need is to look at the first 11 games of last year when the Ravens were 8-3 and had the number 1 overall seed in the AFC with all those injuries already happening outside of the Lamar, final straw. So absolutely, they were able to withstand almost all those injuries until the Lamar injury took him, kind of over the edge and caused that downward spiral. Even with the whole backfield gone, even with, a lot of the members of the secondary out, they still were the best team, in the AFC and had an MVP at quarterback. So just Lamar's return alone is almost enough to get me excited. But when you add in all those other guys and the improvements they made really up and down the roster, I mean, somebody mentioned this in a comment, and I forgive me for not giving him credit, but the depth that EDC has built, really top to bottom on this roster is something that it's commendable. I mean, you look at what he's done at some groups where there was issues with injuries with the DB position, the running back position, the offensive line. I mean, he's done so much to bolster those groups and to really kind of have contingency plans in case the injury bug does bite again. But let's hope.
Yeah, we
pray.
Yeah, we happened to talk about making a shirt yesterday when we were talking about Tyler Beatty. We maybe more realistically need to make a shirt that says contingencies on contingencies on contingencies. That's exactly what this is. This whole thing, it's absolutely impressive. It's masterful. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to see what happens and what we can do with the flexibility, because it's two things, right? We have incredible flexibility and versatility while we're healthy, but also we still have a competitive roster in a terrible situation like we found ourselves in last year, right? Like we still are competitive. So yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it, man. But one of the things I want to get to, Glenn, we talked about off air right before we started the rookie class, and we're excited about it.
Yeah.
One of our first rounders signed today, and I bet you can guess who it was by simply me. If you don't already know which one of our first rounders signed his contract today, I'm just going to tell you this. He took a picture today in a Carhartt shirt.
Nice.
You guess.
Nice. Nice.
I mean, obviously with Tyler Linderbaum, we're excited about it. Yeah, I mean, just another guy that we're expecting to have an impact. We said it yesterday, from top to bottom, this draft class, we're expecting to have a profound impact at every round that we've picked. But hearing good things about Tyler, man. How are you getting more excited?
No doubt. I think that they're right now loading his plate up with about as much as it can handle, and hoping that it absorbs by the time.
In bed?
Yeah, like Greg Roman said, he did use some interesting analogies to describe the amount of information.
Maybe I'm just a 5-year-old. I don't know. Maybe that's
Well,
what it really
look,
is.
I mean, I'm pretty immature too. And when he said that what they're doing right now is putting a fire hose in his mouth and turning on full blast, I think all of
It was
us who are
terrible.
immature went the wrong way there. But
Started
uh,
giggling immediately.
yeah, like children. But I did see, it was kind of interesting. I saw somebody, a pretty prominent member of the Baltimore media, propose the question: will Tyler Linderbaum be the opening day starter at center? And to me, that's not even a question,
Yeah.
right? Like, if he's not, it's only due to injury. That'd be the only way.
Or a serious problem.
Or like, yeah, they find some massive hole in his game that somehow avoided everyone. There he is. There's Tyler, looking happy, looking excited.
And shout out to DK. It feels like it's been a
Yeah,
millennia
it has
since
been
we've
a
seen
while.
DK. What's up, dude? DK,
Yeah.
of course, is back there running the show. So shout out. But yeah, see, that's the old Carhartt. Does he not look like a guy from Iowa?
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Absolutely. But
I mean, just meat
excited to
and
have him.
potatoes,
But
dude.
Jimbo, there is still 8 other rookies
Yeah.
that haven't signed their
Of course,
rookie
Glenn. Always
deal.
bringing the rain cloud. All right.
Yeah, so Kyle Hamilton, David Ajabo, Daniel Falele, Jalen Armour Davis, Jordan Stout, Charlie Kohler, Isaiah Likely, and Demarion Williams, or Pepe as they affectionately call him, have still
Pepe.
yet to sign. Any concern that this could last over into training camp and potentially have a rookie holdout there in camp on any of these
You know,
guys?
as weird as it sounds, I think the percentage is extremely low. The only one I would actually be concerned about is Kyle Hamilton.
Okay.
And part of that is, if I'm not mistaken, his brother's an agent.
Is that
And
true? Okay. He
I'm
better
pretty
be
sure.
his agent.
No, actually, so the agency that his brother works for, I'm pretty sure that the like founder or main agent, like the main guy, is
Yeah.
Kyle's agent.
Oh, so he's got the boss.
Yeah, he's got the. You're right. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I'm sure his brother, obviously, what's the term? Counsels him and things like that. But I think it makes sense. My opinion. I think it makes sense to have somebody that, in a lot of ways, have somebody that's not your family, because there's no conflict of interest. There's less emotion. There's a bit more logic there. Not logic. There's a bit more rationale that's not based on emotion.
Okay.
So I think it could be a good thing. But point being, with all that said, like Kyle, took advantage of the NIL. Like, he's been really smart with his money. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to leave money on the table, is what I'm saying. So if it would be anybody, it might be him. But I don't think he holds out. I think the chances are under 1%, literally. I don't think the Ravens have ever dealt with this. I don't think they plan on starting to do so now.
Right. There's so little to negotiate at this point with the way everything's slotted. I'm not sure really what the holdup is on any of these guys, but it could just be how their process works. And I don't think there's anything to be concerned with. But I did want to touch on, I saw a lot of I saw a comment that was posted on one of our last videos, but also is being brought up again by Christopher Shook. He's asking about Josh Ross, the undrafted linebacker that the Ravens signed out of Michigan, who, of course, knows the defense because he was just with Mike McDonald and David Ajabo as well in Michigan. And he, just so you know, Josh Ross was their defensive player of the year for Michigan, their middle linebacker. And he had his breakout year. He had something like double the production that he had in his previous 2 years. I don't have the exact stats ahead of me, but I will say he's a little undersized, but at linebacker nowadays, who isn't? He's 6 foot, 227. He's got some short. He doesn't have the longest. He doesn't have the biggest length. I'll put it that way. He ran a 4.79. The exciting thing is that he knows the system and he seemed to flourish in it. But he did that at the college level, so we still have to see if he can, transition. I think his biggest competition, as far as the undrafted guys, is going to be Zacoby McClain, who was already on Twitter saying, I will be a household name. And he's an undrafted free agent linebacker, also playing for the Ravens. He's 5'11", 228. He did run a faster 40 time by a tenth. He ran a 4.69, whereas Ross ran a 4.79. He's got some additional length, and hand size that John Ross doesn't have. And he was a thumper. So I think that look, it's going to be a tough, hill to climb to be an undrafted linebacker, even though that's not a strongest position because they have so much invested in Pat Queen. You know that Josh Bynes isn't going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Welch just kind of made his a home here because he's a special teams contributor and he's come in and played in moments.
Yeah, exactly. And then Malik Harrison, I know he's getting run it outside, but he's still going to get some play on the inside. And then they just signed, who's the guy they signed from the Dolphins? He plays inside and outside. They just signed him.
Beagle, right?
Beagle's been, yeah. So I think there's a lot of guys in front of him, but he's got a chance. He's got a shot. He played well in this system before, so there's a very good shot that he could do so at this level as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is this a summary on him, DK? The same guy? Let's see here.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, our guy. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what he does, and see how quickly he's able to flash at the end of the day, right? Like, because if he knows the defense is going to be really comfortable, be able to move quickly and potentially make an impact, and then obviously what he can do on special teams will determine what his opportunities are. But one of the other things I want to talk about that really coincides with, we might have these rookies outstanding in signing their contract. I have a potential theory. It's just a potential theory here. These are raw thoughts, folks. So, it's June 2nd today. We always talk about the post June 1st cuts.
Yeah.
The Ravens have made some moves that are extremely minor.
Yep.
Right. So, I honestly forgot their names. I'm sure that you have them somewhere, but obviously they had to cut a guy to bring in Kyle Fuller. I think he was an Andre. I'm blanking on his name. I think he was a O lineman, if I'm not mistaken, or a D lineman, one of the two. Andre something. Point is that the Ravens have made some small moves, but maybe they're like
it was Aaron Johnson, by the way.
Aaron, I knew it was an A. Aaron or Andre. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, though, is that are they still trying to make some moves as they bring in, as they add their new rookies to the books? Not that I don't think at this point that it's necessary that they do so. I don't think they put themselves in that situation. But I'm interested. Like, we haven't seen anything. I thought that Juwan James would be gone for sure.
Yeah.
Like, what's the reason for him still, hanging around?
Well, it could simply be that Morgan Moses isn't at OTAs yet.
That's true.
They need bodies. So it could be as simple as that, or it could be, that $3 million that they could save. I don't know if it's $3 million outright or if there's some dead money that offsets some of that.
There's only $250,000 in dead money. I think it's 2.5 that they save.
Okay. So they could look at that 2.5 if they feel that Juwan James is ready to go. That they could look at that as a good investment, $2.5 million investment to have a plan for in case something that's never happened before. Morgan Moses misses games, but he is older, so maybe they look at that as enough value to keep the guy around, and then maybe they can cross that bridge later on if they get to a bind where they need some extra scratch. They could then move on from him at that point, but keep him around for now. And who knows? Maybe they've been giving him some run in both tackle positions,
right? And
maybe he's showing them something that we're not anticipating because as far as we know, he's a right tackle only. Right. But he's had 2.5 years. Maybe he's made some changes. Who knows? Maybe he's worked himself into a swing tackle. Who knows?
Yeah, the other thing I wonder, so what I'm trying to figure out in my head is that what is the advantage and the disadvantage to waiting longer to cut in comparison to cutting on the June 1st deadline? Because we also talked about Ben Powers being another potential. Obviously, Miles Boykin is gone.
Yep.
So why not also get rid of the quote unquote, the excess fat, right? Like, why not? Yeah. Why not get rid of it? I wonder what the reason is for holding on to another guy like that. It might be the same logic, like you said, just contingencies, right?
Yeah.
Other guys aren't at OTAs right now. But are you surprised at this point that there aren't more guys that they've, let go?
Well, I think that they want to wait and see a target first. So they may just not have a target that they want to spend the money on. And unless
they know
that target,
there,
they got it in their back pocket. They could take advantage of it whenever. And let's wait and see if a target shows himself. If we cut him now and then nobody is out there that we want to use the money for, then we kind of wasted our backup plan at right tackle. for not a lot. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of action coming up in the next 2 weeks, especially as teams get familiar and get an understanding of what they actually have in their draft picks, because it's nice to see things on tape and it's nice to interview, but you really don't know until you see him moving around in your system, see how he is in the room, see how he is with his teammates, see how he takes coaching, see how he takes criticism. You start to get a feel for a guy's personality, and then it gives you an insight on whether you can maybe cut an expensive veteran and use that young rookie who now you like to replace him for, even if it's less production, if it's close and it's a much cheaper contract, then we could see some big names being cut around the league. And then the Ravens could use that and pounce on a guy if they see one.
Man, it's going to be really interesting. Speaking of money, Glenn, I want to give a shout out. I'm going to make a pivot. I'm just going to veer to the left.
Pivot.
Tonight is game 1 of the NBA Finals, and our partner, Prize Picks, has some ridiculously
crazy. It almost seems like they're trying to give it away, Jimmo.
Yeah, I can't figure this out. So before we get into this, I just want to talk about some numbers really quickly that I'm personally betting on. And I'm guaranteeing a win tonight. So if you follow my picks,
it's easy.
Winning money. That's right. But I
really
just want to say,
easy.
Yeah, you download the app, use the promo code 410, 410, the 3 numbers 410, and you'll get match deposit up to $100. Or after the video's up in the description, there'll be a direct link for it, whatever you want to do. But it's Prize Picks, just like you see on the screen, and then use the promo code. But tonight for game 1, Glenn, if I'm just going to tell you the scenario, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're all over-unders, guys. Over-under Jason Tatum 13.5. Over-under points. Point, not assists, not turnovers, not whatever. Points. Steph Curry, 13.5 points. Klay Thompson, 9.5 points. Jalen Brown, 11.5 points. Marcus Smart, 7.5 points. So, in this particular category, I have to get each one right. But if I get these 5 right, folks, by entering in $20, I'm making $200 tonight. And then I'm taking my wife out to dinner.
My man.
You know what I'm saying?
I could use some dinner.
That's right. So, look, all I'm saying is, if you're into the NBA Finals right now, or even if you're not and you're just getting into it, they have everything you can possibly win some money with. But, go check it out, Prize Picks. And
I mean, you can even just bet on the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Steph gets over 13, Klay gets over 9, you win. I mean, that seems like a layup. I can't remember the last time those two guys in a big time situation didn't like double that easily.
Yeah, you double your money. You just for getting those two things right, you double your money.
Yeah, so super easy. And of course, we'll get into a lot more Prize Picks talk once the season rolls around, because there's not a lot to talk about for football yet. And we know that, that's what we do here is talk football. We're not going to belabor it too much longer, but definitely
check it out.
Yeah, check it out. It's easy money. It looks like it. Let's see. Comments from DC about use of okay. There we go.
You just read out loud, I think accidentally.
That's okay. So I think he was talking about Don C. I'm trying to find the comment. Oh, he's shaking his head. Okay. All right. So I think DK's trying to point out a comment too. Hey, if you wanna, there we go. Oh, okay. Mike McDonald. So Sarah Ellison tweeted out, Mike McDonald says it's too early to say where Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, and Chuck Clark will each play. He said that might change each week based on the situation and game plan. And last, he says, I quote, our goal is to find the best 11 guys in any given situation. And that's all you want to hear, right? You want to hear that the best guys will get on the field. Now, if that means your best guys include maybe an extra linebacker or an extra outside linebacker, then he would make that work. But in this case, our best guys is going to include some safeties.
Yeah, 100%.
And they're going to find their way on the field. And that's all you can ask for, because you don't want Chuck Clark sitting on the bench for a cornerback or a linebacker that couldn't hold his jock. It's clearly not on the same level of player, just because, well, I can't have too many safeties. That's not, that's not the standard, or that's not what you're supposed to do. So I love the fact that he's saying, look, I'm flexible. If my best players happen to be, 4 or 5 safeties in that group, then we'll find a way to scheme to get those guys on the field at the same time, because I want my best, just like the offensive line. They want their best 5. If that means a guy who was maybe drafted as a right guard is asked to then play left, or a guy who was drafted like in Bradley Bozeman's situation, he was drafted as a center. We said, hey, your quickest way to the field is left guard. Guess what he did? He learned how to play left guard real damn quick, and now, he's elsewhere making a pretty good living. So, excited to hear that. But what would you say? Because, of course, he's not going to be committal. But with those 3 guys, Marcus, Kyle, and Chuck, what are the most obvious roles that you can imagine seeing them in, Jimbo?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if and positions aside, I see Marcus playing the role of a traditional free, right? Like being out there playing the deep third, playing the guy that's going to cover each side of the field. And then I see a Chuck on the opposite end of that being in the box a ton, like this hybrid type. Everyone talks about him moving down, playing next to PQ. I don't know if I see that exactly, but something similar to that. I think that, Chuck's a super smart dude, already knows what everyone's doing on the field. So I think in a lot of situations, we will see him down by the box, similar to like before the ACL, Tony Jefferson. I felt like was made a living by the box when Eric was further out, right? I was playing more in that free role. So that's kind of how I see those two. The interesting part is that Kyle can kind of do both, right? Like he's proven to do both. Everything. So I don't know. And that might be the fun part, right? Kyle then becomes the guy that they can just deploy to confuse people.
Or man him up on people,
on a tight end and things like that, right? So that's going to be so interesting to see. But that's how I see the breakdown of those two, at least happening with Kyle. I'm still up in the air, but like you said, I think it's a good point. Just you man him on someone and you make that guy work really, really hard. So that's kind of how I see it going. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's going to be situations where they use they can use the assumption of of offensive coordinators against them. They can say, well, I think we all know like Marcus Williams is going to be the center fielder because that's what he does.
Center fielder, yeah.
But in a lot of situations, they could say we're gonna put Marcus back in there, make it look and disguise as if he's doing what everyone expects, and then he could come running down in the box, and Kyle Hamilton could go running back and play that. I think there's just so much versatility that I think he's not really blowing smoke or telling us a bunch of BS when he says it's going to be matchup based. It's going to be week to week, and we're going to see these guys in so many different places. That way, as a quarterback, you don't get a beat on what they're doing, and that's really all it comes down to: confusing the quarterback, showing something pre-snap, and then showing something completely different after the ball is snapped. Jimbo, I want to talk about something because I'm getting a little bit irritated with the. Yeah, I'm getting a little irritated. I'm running a little bit hot about these Bengals fans, Jimbo, because.
Well, we know they don't come out and support.
Well, yeah, we do know that. One thing that I think is hilarious is that, the confidence that these Bengals fans have is really funny to me, because you'd think that they had like this 14-3 season, 15-2. You'd think that they just had this glorious season that only was stopped at the very end in the Super Bowl. They were 10-7, Jimbo. They lost
to the Jets.
To the Jets. Like, I'm just because I get that right now they are the team to beat in the North because of what they did, but I'm just not that impressed. I mean, I'm not that scared of what the Bengals are going to be bringing. It's not like when the Chiefs took off and the Chiefs were like, damn, them boys look tough. Like as much as
different.
Yeah. Like you could see it like, man, I don't see that with the Bengals. I'm not that, scared of the Bengals. I really am not. I mean, people might think I'm being a homer here, but I'm honestly, I'm just being honest. I think with the first place schedule that they're going to be seeing, with the target on their back that it just wasn't. Nobody took them seriously until the very end of the season. They thought they were a joke. And really after the Jets game, most people were predicting a nosedive. I'm just not that afraid of what the Bengals. Now I respect, and I'm not saying the Ravens are going to go destroy them. I think it's going to be a tough game, but Jimbo, I'm just not, I'm not scared of the Bengals. And I think that if they come into these games, like feeling themselves and being real cocky, they're going to be in big trouble. I think there's a good chance, I think there's a chance, I should say, not a good chance, that they could go and miss the playoffs this year if what's his name from the Browns, the quarterback,
Deshaun Watson.
If Watson's playing, if Pickett turns out to be, what they're hoping he is, and the Ravens are healthy, good luck in the AFC North. And then they got a first place schedule outside the North. So they got to take on all the division winners across the league. Look at their 9-game stretch to start the year. I'm not so sure the Bengals are a shoo-in to even make the playoffs, Jimbo.
Yeah, I mean, and that's there's a few things there. One, that's the NFL in and of itself, right? That's why there's so much parity, and that's why it's fun to watch and things like that, because it's hard to stay on top, right? It just is simply really hard. But the other thing, like you said, is that you got a lot of young guys who have had nothing but success. And what happens when they finally hit adversity, right? Like as a unit, I'm not talking about individually, like guys will talk about, whatever. Like,
well, Joe Burrow came back from the injury. That's some adversity, no doubt.
Sure, but as a unit, at the same time, though, I mean, you watch Joe talking about how he loves to play the Ravens because they talk, and he rung up 500, he rung up 400. How about every game before that, Joe?
Right.
How about every game before those two when we were decimated and you were playing against the practice squad, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what happened. Did you get a win? No. Not a single one to report home to your mama. Not one. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think that they're a little fat and happy right now. So I agree with you 100%. And it's going to be really interesting, man, because I wouldn't be surprised at what you're saying that they end up on the outside looking in, because psychologically, right? How long does it take for you to get contended, right? Like, how long does the dog eat before it's no longer hungry?
Mm-hmm.
There's only those special units that keep that hunger, right? And we're not, the Ravens aren't any different. I think if you asked Lamar Jackson, in all honesty, if you gave him a little bit of truth serum, I think he regrets the way he started the season last year with the gold cleats. He was a little fluffy. Like, you'll see a much different Lamar Jackson this year, coming off of the down year last year than the relatively successful season he had the year prior. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, plus the additions of the returning players around him.
But I mean, just his physicality and the way that he looks coming out, the way that he carries himself and all those things. So, yeah, that's a long-winded way to say I'm with you, and it's frustrating. And at this point, we just got to wait. We just got to wait it out and then punch him in the mouth, because
I can't wait.
Yeah, and you know what really fuels my fire? Not that I have any impact on the field. Every single list I see, Orlovsky's list, everybody's list, all of a sudden Joe Burrow is the next Tom Brady.
I know. I don't see, and you know what? Another good point.
To crown him.
Yeah, because
he's not better than Lamar Jackson.
No,
he's not.
He's just not. And I can't wait for Lamar to prove it. And Adit Mahmoud brings up another really good point. They also had the best injury luck in all of football last year. They had no significant injuries.
2 decades?
The worst injury luck in the last 20 years. Yeah. So, I can't wait for that day when it all comes back, and and I'm not rooting for injuries.
No, it's not about the injury. It's about beating. It's just about simply waxing them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And their fans as well, because I'm getting a little sick and tired of being called a rat bird.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'm getting.
A Bengal is like a. No offense to anyone that
Well, they're tigers, Jimbo. Let's not start.
Yeah, but is it a real tiger?
A Bengal tiger? Yeah.
Yeah, but
they're gigantic.
Yeah, but you go to the zoo, you're like, I'm going to see a Bengal tiger. No, I want to see one of those.
They're the same
tigers, dude.
I think you need to Google Bengal tiger.
I know what a Bengal tiger is.
They're like 900 pounds of cat.
All I'm saying is that I'm pretty sure
of that.
There's a different tiger that is much larger. Plus, why would you not want a lion instead of a tiger? I'm just saying, they're like the generic Tylenol of the cats.
I would take a tiger.
Tylenol of the cats.
No, I would take a tiger one-on-one over a lion any day.
Oh, not a chance.
Dude, tigers live alone. They hunt alone. Lions hunt in a pack of like 8, first of all, mainly women. The man just comes in and eats first, which is pretty rude. Unless it's a big animal. But look up the size of a tiger and then the size of a male lion.
Tiger.
DK, help me out. I guarantee a tiger is bigger than a lion.
That's fine. But look, it's not it's not the Tiger King. Well, there is Tiger King. It's Lion King, bro. It's the king of the jungle for a reason, okay?
Dude, tigers stay alone, they hunt alone, and they take down massive creatures.
That is totally fine. But
There's
a tiger,
like 8 girl lions that do
a
it.
tiger will not
Anyway.
walk up. Hold on. It knows better than to walk up to a sleeping tiger, a sleeping lion, and start to mess around with it. They're not going to do that.
Well,
Not
first
that
of all,
dumb.
they're not in the same environment, so they're never going to stumble upon one
I'm
another.
just saying it would never happen.
One's in the
Never
jungle
happen.
and
Not a
one is in.
chance.
Look at that, Jimbo.
It does. It's fine. That's fine.
You can
I'm
stay
saying.
on this hill, but you're gonna die on this hill.
I'll
Tigers
die
are
right
more
here.
badass than lions. And I watched the Cat Week, Big Cat Week. I watch it all the time.
Every week is Cat Week. Like,
It's relaxing. It's really relaxing. But
no, dude, I'm going lion all the way. Is all I'm saying.
all right, well, you can become a Detroit fan anytime you want. Good luck. Good luck there, because it's even worse than in Cincinnati.
Hey, I like their draft better than Cincinnati's.
I do like their draft, I got to say. They did have a good
They
draft.
got
But
potentially the best defensive and
They're the-
offensive player in the draft.
they'll figure out how to mess it up because they're the Detroit Lions, and that's
Let's
all
hope
they do.
not.
Just ask Matt Stafford. Ravens O's Nation says, different sports I know, but I'm a Lakers fan in the NBA. Oof. And look at how we are now after winning a title in 2019. I'm not buying the Bengals as an every year thing. They don't have good coaching. Well, I'll say this about the Lakers. For one, they got to stop letting LeBron be their general manager. They got to stop. They shouldn't have went with all those old guys. They got a bunch of old dudes and said, look, we'll see what happens. Well, it bit them in the tuchus. And I don't know what they're going to do with Anthony Davis because he's always hurt. And so, they're in big trouble in LA. And I think if I was LeBron, as soon as I can get out of that contract, which I don't think he can yet, I would be sprinting away from them. And you know, it's funny. They're never going to get credit for that title because everyone's going to call it the bubble title, which isn't necessarily fair because I think it was a very hard title to win in that bubble, but they're not going to give him any credit. Anyway, I know you're not a LeBron guy. So.
No. I mean, I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm just not the biggest LeBron guy.
Yeah.
But dude, serious credit for I think that was one of the toughest championships to win, in my opinion.
I agree, but they all, they kind of, who was it that just was Pat Beverly was like, that wasn't a real title, it was a bubble title. But in those circumstances, it was a tough title to win, in my opinion.
Pat Bev is also the kid that has just had to scratch and claw for everything just to, you know what I mean? So like he's just always going to have that attitude about everything. I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's the underdog attitude in every moment.
I get it, dude. I get it, dude.
Oh yeah, you got a little bit of that in you, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Anyway, got a little bit of that.
Yeah, just a little. Tripping. What? Apparently, LeBron just officially became a millionaire. That is true. So he's
a billionaire.
Even when he ain't
billionaire.
That's right.
He's been a millionaire for a long.
Yeah, since he was 18 years old. Longer than.
Look. And I'll say the last thing about LeBron. LeBron had the most expectations, the highest bar, and he's done nothing but exceed those expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And got to give credit where it's due. The guy's been incredible. He says, again, I'm a Kobe guy. I could care less about LeBron. My point was only thing can change quickly if you aren't hungry and don't build your team right. 100%. Excellent point. Because, they thought they could do it. They thought they could just bring in, a bunch of older guys and try and get the prime version of those guys, and it bit them in the butt. And you're right. Even if you have a guy like LeBron who seemingly drug any team to the finals and certainly to the playoffs, if you can't make the playoffs with LeBron, I don't care if it's a 37-year-old LeBron because he still looks good. He can still hoop. He can still jump up and have his head hit the rim. Oldest player
ever to average 30 points in the history of the NFL or NBA.
Yeah, so if you can't win with that guy, then, it just shows that you have to have proper roster construction, and the same can be said really across any.
I love how we're talking about the NBA.
I know.
This is awesome.
But I think it is point that you can go from
to the top of the mountain.
Look at baseball, the Nationals. It wasn't terribly long ago they won the World Series. They're the worst team in the league.
Yeah, look at what we did. I mean, what happened when we tried to run it back after the 2000 Super Bowl? Like,
yeah, the one position they probably should have ran back, they decided not to, and that was the quarterback.
No
kidding. Whoops.
Now I'm just gonna say, Direct Fire Dave. You can say a lot of things
No,
about
he's
me.
talking about LeBron James, Jimbo. Let me stop
Okay.
you.
I was about to say, but I'm not dumb, bro. I'm not dumb. Okay? Like, yeah, maybe I need to break open an encyclopedia and learn more about safari cats, but I don't think I'm dumb. Anyway.
Nah, I think he was talking about LeBron. All right. Registered Nurse Mark. Shout out to Registered Nurse who I think we saw for the first time last week. Had 100% agreed. Those Bengals were actually 6-7. They got 4 wins against our depleted team and the sorry ass Steelers. They're getting on my nerves already. Yeah, 100%. I mean, they are a team. I love how confident they are after 10-7. And now they went from the last and easiest schedule, to the first place schedule and maybe the toughest. I think they're second rated in the whole league as far as, most difficulty of schedule. And I find it hard to believe that they're going to have the injury luck that they had. And again, we're not hoping for any injuries, but we're expecting them to get to the median, like not to be the best, but somewhere in the middle. And if they got even any addition, it would have affected them. And who knows, how bad it would have affected
the nature of the thing in and of itself, right? The other thing, hey, I want to mention to you guys really quickly, because we talked about this before the show, is that now that we're growing as a show, first of all, shout out to all you guys. Appreciate the support that we've been growing. Speaking of the Bengals, we were quickly scoping out a Bengals podcast that's about the same size of us in subs, and they were doing a live show. Great guys. However, they had 20 people in attendance. We have 155 people in attendance right now. So shout out to Ravens Flock for that.
Yeah, buddy.
But the one thing I want to say, absolutely. The one thing I want to say is that now that we've surpassed a certain number in subs, we have the opportunity to offer what's called super thanks, similar to super chat, but in the comment section of a video, not the chat. You can do a sponsored comment essentially. So they call it a super thanks, but basically you can say whatever you want. If you have a comment that you're feeling really passionate about to a video, go ahead and do a super thanks. It's just I think it's like a heart with a plus sign, and you can add the comment and we will see it. It will be tagged. And then what we'll do is we will guarantee a response to that comment. Not a chat like a super chat, but in a recorded video or a video, obviously anything that's not live. So, that of course goes to building out our studio, which we're really excited to do. And we appreciate all you guys' support for that and as much content as we can bring you guys. So we're excited about that. Shout out to all you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, we still have the Patreon. If you want to support the show, if you want more videos, obviously we are going to, we're the more Patreon, the more support we get, the more opportunity we have to put out more content. And that's really what we want to do. We want to put out as many shows as we can, and the support certainly helps. So check it out.
And maybe a revamp to the Patreon coming soon. Stay tuned. Check it out. Obviously, I mean, there's all kinds of options now, but it would only be improved, if anything. So go check it out, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate everything. No doubt.
Oh my gosh, so much.
It's crazy. Some of the comments, messages.
We're just two goobers and a smart guy, DK, back there.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Jimbo, what's on your hand?
What's on my hand?
It said, James, what's on your hand? I didn't know what that question meant, but maybe the ring? Yeah, he's married. Hey, he's off the market. Baby. Sorry, ladies.
A decade in, son.
Yeah, buddy. Shout out to Edwin. By the way, if you're on Facebook and looking for an awesome group to be, we are in Play Like a Raven as a Facebook group. Please join it. Edwin is a moderator. I think we are too. And just does some great stuff there. So shout out to Edwin in the chat. But Jimbo, where else?
I want to get somewhere else. I want to get the two things before we wrap this thing up.
Thank you.
Number one, I'm asking all of you guys. Everyone's talking about Jalen Ferguson and the shape he's in. Okay, scoured over Twitter.
DK, help us out. Find something of Ferguson.
Because I don't believe this crap. I don't believe this hearsay.
But why don't you believe it? Do you want him to fail, Jimbo? Because that's what it sounds like.
No. Listen to you becoming a defender of Jalen Ferguson. No, I don't. But I think I've deserved the right as a fan to say, I'll believe it when I see it. We've given you a leash. We drafted you high. Like, we've done a lot of things for Jalen Ferguson, giving him every opportunity. Now it's your turn to deliver, my friend. I'm not going to sit over here and give you the benefit of the doubt. You need to prove it to me. A lot of players I give the benefit of the doubt to, not Snack Daddy. I can't right now because he's burned me too many times. I'm a scorn lover, Glenn.
Yeah, and we were so high on him. That's why we're so
it's
disappointed.
frustrating.
But if you're telling me that this is a sign that he might be starting to take things a little more seriously, and that this could be, we could get the best version of Jalen Ferguson, then I'm all for it, Jimbo.
Now, look, is there any way that this really happened? He was eventually saying, you know what, I'm already kind of big. I don't feel like changing my diet. I'm just going to eat myself into a defensive tackle position. And then he realized there was some depth there and said, you know what, let me get a jawline going and move back to the outside. Like, is there any
go keto for 3 months?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm obviously being a bit sarcastic here. And my goal, of course, this year is not to pick on players. However,
you said you were going to be nicer.
My point is just this, is that, like, okay, the body is a big part of it. And you know that I take a lot of stock in the way the players take care of themselves.
That's because you take incredible care of your body, Jimbo.
I try my best. I try my absolute best. And that's all I expect others to do. But my point is that that's only half the equation, right? Like, you still got to play football and be good at football. Yeah.
That's the most important part of it. Shout out to Jaden, by the way. Thanks for the support.
McX-ray?
I
bet you that's what it is.
I bet it's not, but thank you for doing it. Because I don't want to butcher the name, because I know some people get very offended if you mess their name up. So I don't even go down that route. But let me say this, Jimbo, before you just discount him. I will say this. We love Jeff Zrebiec, right? We respect Jeff Zrebiec.
Yeah, absolutely. Love
Jeff. Does he come off as a BS to you, or does he come off as a pretty straight shooter? Straight shooter. Well, he said from his Twitter account, he said, I take attendance early at practice and check off the numbers as I see them. I saw the 45 and I was convinced that it was someone else. I didn't check him off until I saw his nameplate. That's how different he looked. That's got to get you encouraged, because Jeff doesn't just come on here and make stuff up and BS and blow smoke. That's not what he does.
Definitely not. Jeff is the facts. Straight dope facts.
He's not like a goofball. So if he's saying that he literally wouldn't even trust the number, didn't believe the number, he was doing one of these numbers, Jimbo, wiping his eyes. If he's saying he was so blown away that he had to wait to see the nameplate, then it doesn't mean it's a small change, Jimbo. This isn't a change where people are like, yeah, I guess he looks a little. This means he has to look night and day different for this type of reaction. So I got to be encouraged, because that's where it starts. You got to get yourself in the correct shape. And then now with the new coaches, the new techniques, like Mike McDonald was saying, that Ferguson's got some new techniques. They teach things differently. Maybe we see some of that magic. He had talent. You don't get the leading sack. There we go. Appreciate it. Scroll down a little bit.
It's like Santa Claus. I haven't seen anything yet. Nothing.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, if he gets his body in shape, the techniques, he has to have talent. You don't become the all-time leader in sacks in college if you don't have talent. So,
well, he did get a La Tech, right?
Yeah, but that's a lot of sacks, Jimbo. That's a lot of sacks. I mean, come on now. You got to give him a little bit of.
For sure. And look, I'm with you 100%. All I'm saying is this, Glenn. I am not putting any of my emotional.
We don't have to count on him.
Stock. Nothing. Anything we get from Jalen Ferguson is absolute gravy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I hope for it. Trust me, as a Ravens fan, I want him to be great, but I just can't emotionally depend on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't.
How about this? If he gets double-digit sacks, Jimbo.
Dude.
Jalen, if he gets double-digit sacks, you got to buy a Ravens jersey with Sack Daddy on the back, and you have to wear it to the game. Sack Daddy.
I mean, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. If he gets double-digit sacks, shoot. I see you're trying to bait me in for something more extreme, is I think what you it almost came out I'm like, I'm about to shave my head. No, I can't.
No. Dude, all the way. By the way, if we ask for suggestions, we cannot shave our head.
Or eyebrows.
We cannot shave our eyebrows because we'll get fired from our real job.
Like, I'm gonna show up to a meeting with a chief information security officer, like, hey, you want to buy some cybersecurity? Like, no, it's not going to
go good. I'll look like a man. I'll be in a full suit with one eyebrow missing. That's not a good combination. They'll show me the door. So, I love the suggestions, but I can't shave my head and I can't trim an eyebrow. There's just I can't make it happen.
Shave your kid's head? Dude, we're letting
That's
Henry.
cheating. That's cheating because Henry has a lot less hair to lose than my son would at this point.
Dude, his hair is so long right now. It's ridiculous. We're letting it grow. That sucker's growing.
I like it. Okay. Edwin says, bold prediction. Offense and defense hits top 5 this season.
I love it.
I tend to agree with you, Edwin. I think that the defense really both have a clear path to rebound from a down season. Yeah. And really,
objectively speaking, it's absolutely within range if you're talking about the roster.
No doubt. As long as, again, it comes down to health. And like most things, it comes down to health. But Edwin, I tend to agree with you. I bet they did. I believe they did in 2019. I know they were number 1 in offense by far, and I think they were 3 in defense. So
I don't think a single pundit or coach, once again, if you're asking them to be objective, would scoff at that.
Now, the only thing you could say defensively is that they gotta show it to me in the pass rush, because really that's the only spot where they're perceived to be weak.
For sure. But I don't think I don't think a lot of people be like, you know what I mean? I don't think there'd be a lot of, crazy reactions and people think it's outlandish. So yeah, I'm with you, Edwin. I like the bold prediction. Let's see what Joe Smith has to say. And then we will finish with the last topic and we will go watch the finals game. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Smith says, I'm just saying this reminds me of when every season was Chris Moore actually looks really good this year. Is
oh my goodness.
Year.
Did anyone take that seriously though? Nobody did. Chris Moore? He's garbage. I mean, look, I'm sorry to use that word, but
he's Sam Cook's leading receiver.
He probably is.
I think he is. Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess so. It could be Joe. I mean, according to Jimbo, I think that he's kind of starting to agree with you. But I will say that Chris Moore was drafted in what round in comparison to where Jalen was? Like, the expectations for Chris Moore were much lower. He was a kind of a back end of the roster guy, special teamer.
And yet he's probably still registered more significant stats than Jalen Ferguson.
He probably has more tackles. No, there's no way he has more tackles.
I don't know. That's an interesting. DK, you should figure that. Who has more career tackles?
There's no
Chris
way.
Moore or Jalen Ferguson? I would love to know that.
If
it's Chris Moore, I'm gonna do a backflip.
Yeah, I would be. Yeah, I'll denounce all support for Jalen if that's the case.
But Glenn, I just want to end the show really quickly with this. We talked about Lamar Jackson. I think both you and I have both kind of decided that it's not that big of a deal that he's not there. However, it's something that we would love to have. With that said, Kyler Murray showed up in the midst of a contract contract dispute. He showed up.
This is how we're going to end the show. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, on fire. So does it? I have a number of questions here. Like, does it mean anything that Kyler Murray showed up? Does it put any pressure on Lamar Jackson that Kyler Murray showed up? Should Ravens fans feel any differently about Lamar now that Kyler showed up? Those are all the questions that are running through my head that I'm trying to figure out.
I got an easy one for you. No, because here's the difference. Kyler Murray was holding out, and you got to respect his honesty because he admitted it. He was holding out over a contract situation.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson's not holding out because he's unhappy with his contract. It's
as far as we know.
Well, the Ravens are ready to negotiate whenever. This is Lamar deciding to wait and put it off. So he's holding out while
strategically, maybe
while working. Well, also, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Jimbo. OTAs, they have limited number of practice time. Like, they have a certain amount of time. They have to adhere to that time. What if right now that coach, Adam Dito, I think is his name, he works with the Tom House team. What if that guy is giving Lamar Jackson 8 hours of work every day, whereas if he was here, he could get how many hours of work? He could only get maybe 2 hours of work. So maybe he's getting more work where he's at now while it's individual. He's not with his team, which I certainly would like to have him with his team. But I think it's just a two different – like, Kyler was holding out as he was vocally unhappy with his contract. Lamar, to the media, I love my Ravens. I want to be a Raven. It's not about the contract. I'm working on my mechanics. I'm hitting the weights. I'm doing my own thing here. These are voluntary. Like, I think it's just two different situations. So I don't think they really connect much with each other. And I think that maybe Lamar could be getting more work done because of the lack of restrictions that the OTAs have. That maybe he's getting more work where he is because he can get 8 hours a day instead of 2.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt he's doing 8 hours a day. However,
it could be double, could be 4 hours.
And being one-on-one instead of going through plays that he already knows does seem like a better use of time.
However, said, he knows 80% of what they're going to do this year already.
Right. However, it does make me think, like, does Lamar feel some type of way? I don't know. I just don't know. Because he's always been there, and he's not there this year. Maybe he's taking his offseason routine more seriously. Maybe it's a good sign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but it's just different than his normal offseason behavior. So I'll hope it's for the best is how I'll end that. And I'll just end it there. But let us know what you guys think, of course, as well. You concerned? Does it make any difference if Kyler Murray's back? And that's it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back. If anything breaks, of course, we'll be here. But we'll be back next week with a few shows. And then, of course, our weekly live. So make sure you turn on notifications. Don't miss anything. Follow us anywhere on social media. We appreciate all the support. Like DK said, check out the Patreon. We have a lot of options there. Make sure you participate with us there. And get on Prize Picks. Make yourself some money tonight. Use 410 to get a matching deposit. All that said, Glenn, is it time to go? Shout out to all you guys.